Okay, next one's going to be your phone. Now, this one sounds simple, and it pretty much is, but there's some things that can really trip people up. So let's take a look at that. On the phone, one of the big things we're going to start with is your voicemail. So what we're going to do is clean up that voicemail, make it look nice, at least temporarily, just until you get that first job. Now, you don't want something that's going to be cool and fancy and hip. You need something that's going to sound professional. For example, hey, you've reached Ty. Sorry I missed your call. If you'll leave me a message, I'll get back to you as quick as I can. I know that sounds old and out of date, but it is a professional, quick, easy way for an employer, if they're calling to check on you or schedule an interview and you missed that call, for them to be able to hear that and leave a message. Now, I love some prank voicemails. Hello, hello, hello. Those are some of my favorite. However, that's not a professional one. Also, having some music in the background, you want to keep that out of it, a nice clean background. And also, when you record that, make sure there's not a lot of sounds. I've had students been apprentices before. They'll record that. There'll be a lot of traffic outside or music in the background or pots and pans dinging. You want to make sure it's a decent quality audio. Take a few shots at it, record it, put it up there. And again, it doesn't have to be cool. It just has to be long enough for you to get that first job. The other thing you want to do is on your phone. You want to make sure that you're not answering that phone while you're driving. So you get that call back for that first interview. Awesome. If you're driving, do not answer it. Let it go to voicemail. Remember, you have a professional voicemail set up, so it's okay. But do not answer that phone while you're driving. There are several issues to that. One is a lot of companies are going to be giving you a service van. So if you answer the phone while you're driving their very expensive service van, that's going to be a liability for them. It's an insurance thing. It also means that you're breaking the law, you're distracted driving. So that's going to be an issue. It's a red flag immediately for an employer hiring you. So try to find a place to pull off the road and be ready. Now, if you're driving, I just let it go to voicemail and then I call them back when I can. Now, the next thing is when you do answer the phone, whether you are able to answer the phone or you're calling them back, make sure you have a pen and paper handy. Yes, a pen and paper. Not even just on the phone, because you're going to be talking on the phone. You want to make sure you can actually write this information down. For example, they'll tell you what their name is. Write their name down. For me, ADHD, one of the symptoms is not being able to remember names initially. So that's a thing I really struggle with. So I have to write names down. Otherwise, I forget them. With my best intentions, I'll forget that name. Another thing is going to be the time and the address of where you're supposed to meet if you get that interview. You want to make sure you have that written without a mistake. And then once they give it to you, read it back out to them to make sure you didn't make any mistakes. They make all kinds of little notepads. You can put one in your pocket. But if you're not ready to write it down, don't answer that phone yet, because there's been so many mistakes with that. I went to apply for a job once in Dallas, Texas, a really fancy job. I found the address. I couldn't remember the name of the person I was supposed to speak to. And when I got there, they were applying for 4 different jobs. They had 4 different interviews going on. And because I didn't know the person's name, I didn't get in for that interview. Very embarrassing. Learn from my mistake. But now I make sure I write everything down. I'm pulled over. When I call them back, I have a pen and paper and everything's ready to go. Be professional. Try to keep the music off of the background. Make sure you're in a place where you can hear. You got good cell phone service. Nothing worse than having really bad cell phone service and you're trying to figure out the address. So you want to make sure you write all this information down: phone number, time, location, all this information down right then. When you are asking them questions, don't ask them how you get there. So these are things that you want to be able to find out on your own. We'll go into more detail about that in a little bit, but make sure you have that pen and paper. Make sure you have your voicemail cleaned up. Those are going to be some very, very important things. Good cell phone service. So when you do answer that call, you are ready to go.